All right, begin.
What's going on, y'all? What it is? So let's go ahead and slide on this topic. And I didn't want to do a video in regards to this issue, but it just keeps poking at me. So I had to come on my platform and say something about the situation dealing with Tyre Nichols. Now, before we go any further, I would like to say rest in peace to Tyre Nichols. I send my condolences to his entire family, especially his young son who is 4 years old. This is going to be heartbreaking for a young man to have to go the rest of his life without his father, right? And so, like, this situation could have been avoided, but it's just a sad situation when you look at the dynamics of it. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, Tyre was an avid skateboarder and a nature photographer from Sacramento, California, who moved to Memphis, Tennessee right before the pandemic. Now, Tyre ended up getting a job at FedEx, and he was working to build himself back up to get himself in a place where he was financially stable to support himself, let alone his son, right? And so basically on January the 8th, he was said to be stopped for a routine traffic stop. And we're going to get into what I'm hearing about that situation right there. But he was said to be stopped for a routine traffic stop, and things went left pretty quickly. Now, during that routine traffic stop, it was said that Tyre tried to flee the scene, and basically he was maced and tased. But now that we've been provided with the visuals that actually took place during that altercation, it is very clear and evident that it didn't take too long for things to get physical. Now, if you guys have watched the video like me, it is definitely heartbreaking and disturbing to actually watch. It is so sad to see 5 people with the same hue as me do this to another brother, let alone in the same city that MLK lost his life in. Now, if you were to ask me, am I surprised that this situation took place? No, I am disappointed, but I'm not surprised because this is the way that some of our people treat each other in the streets on a day-to-day basis. And the only difference is that they were in uniform with a badge and a gun. And so at the end of the day, that uniform is supposed to symbolize that they are here to serve and protect the community. But we know throughout our history that serving and protecting the communities isn't the top priority for some. In fact, they have different agendas, especially when you take into account that it just came out that at least 2 of the officers that were involved only got hired due to the fact that the MPD lowered their standards and qualifications that it actually takes to become a PO in Memphis. Now, I'm just going to be honest and give you guys the raw, rugged truth right now. Normally, I wake up, I am so proud of being a black man within this country. And if I had the chance to do it all over again, I would choose to be who I am right now, to be honest. Yes, would I make some different decisions? Of course, I think we all would if we had the chance to do it all over again. But I must say that this situation right here has shaken me. And right now, I'm not proud of my culture, not proud of it at all. And this is the first time, right, that I've ever contemplated, you know, moving from the US, going somewhere else. But where do you go? Because even our own people are set out to get us. I mean, just think about this, y'all. Where is a comfortable place on planet Earth that people with the same hue as me can go to and live their lives quietly and peacefully without being bombarded and disrespected by individuals that don't like us based off the color of our skin, and also the stereotypical propaganda that has been put out there about us as a whole race? Now, some of y'all say that going back to Africa is a definite option. Are y'all sure about that? Because at the end of the day, I don't know. They might try to round us up and sell us all over again. But anyway, let me get back on track. So this situation with Tyre took place back on January the 8th. He later passed away from his injuries on January the 10th. Now, I must say that I have to give props to Chief CJ Davis for firing these officers and also making sure that they were charged with second-degree M. And to be perfectly honest, she did it in a very timely manner. I mean, she moved swiftly, you know, in making sure that these officers were held accountable. And as a brother in this country, I would like to say that we would like to see this happen across the board, you know, when there's other officers involved of a different hue. You know what I'm saying? So there was no paid administrative leave or nothing like that. She clipped them off, pulled the plug, and again, there was no need for any extended investigations when it came to this particular situation. And so when it's time for sentencing, we hope that these officers get exactly what they deserve for committing such an egregious crime. Now, with that said, Chief CJ Davis seems to have a checkered past, and it seems that trouble always follows her wherever she goes. And as a matter of fact, it says here she was fired from the Atlanta Police Department in 2008 for her alleged involvement in a S-Crimes investigation into the husband of an Atlanta police sergeant, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now, just to be perfectly clear, she did end up appealing the situation and she was later reinstated, but ultimately she moved to Memphis to become the chief of police there. Now, what I want to do here is play this clip of this gentleman talking about her involvement in those Atlanta streets and all the mayhem that she caused when she was there as far as when it comes to law enforcement, right? And I did do my research and this brother is spitting nothing but facts. So guys, check out the video and then I'll be right back.
Wise man. This is only for educational purposes only. This is CJ Davis. I got history with this lady. No, not no personal history. Don't get it twisted. It's a remote kind of history. Let me explain. I used to live in Atlanta for 15 years between the 80s and the 90s. Came back home in 2000. I was down there when she put together the Red Dog unit. It was notorious for kicking in doors, fighting crime, kicking in doors of poor people. She had a hell of a reputation down in Atlanta, and it was called the Red Dog Squad. Now she got the one called the Scorpion Squad. The Red Dog Squad in Atlanta kicked in the door of a 92-year-old woman, and she killed her. 92 years old and killed her. 92 and killed her. Wrong house, wrong time. We've seen that 1,000 times. That's her right there. That's who was over there, Red Dog unit in Atlanta. Okay? So your reputation follows you, man. She got fired for some scandal with one of the sergeants down there. It wasn't her, but she tried to cover it up and botch the situation with some kind of scandal with this guy being with underage girls, and she got fired. So she came here and brought that feminine energy here. And it didn't take long for her reputation to be tarnished. She wasn't even here. She wasn't even here 2 years. She wasn't even, a year and a half maybe. And she's about to be out the door. She's under scandal situations less than right at a year, a little over a year's time. You got to ask yourself why. Because that feminine energy, man, that energy, man, it ain't good. It follows you, man. You can't escape it, because the Father is giving karma out and passing it out like hotcakes. It don't take no time for karma to get you. You thought you were going to dodge that wicked situation over in Atlanta, then come here with that madness? About to get you out of here quick, chick. You about done. I had to do a little research, but I found it. I knew of her from that situation with the Red Dogs kicking the doors in Atlanta and that 92-year-old. I heard about that vaguely when I was living down there. Don't take long. Y'all stay woke out here, man.
Alright, so you guys heard what he had to say about the situation, and like I said, that this is factual information that you can look up for yourself. I did want to implement that Red Dog stood for Run Every Drug Dealer Out of Georgia. Now, this organization was created within the 1980s to combat the crack epidemic that was going on in the 1980s, and I did paraphrase that. I'm pretty sure you guys can read what it actually says. Then she moves on to Memphis and creates this thing called the Scorpion Unit, right, which stands for Street Crimes Operation to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods. And what you can see that they did the total opposite within this situation, clearly, right? And so this particular unit has been deactivated permanently as of yesterday. And so in my estimation, it just seems to me, given the nature of her history, is that she just hires a bunch of goons, puts them in uniforms, let alone lower the qualifications for you to become a PO, right, in the first place. and then puts them out in the streets, and they feel that they have the green light to do whatever they want to. Now, what's factual about this situation is the fact that these 5 brothers who committed this egregious crime, they're about to find out that blue lives only matter for a select group, right? Because they're not going to come and back you, right? You don't have that same privilege. So at the end of the day, I don't know if you thought that this type of privilege was going to work for you. Wrong answer. Now, another interesting thing that came from Tyre's father is the fact that he said that these brothers weren't the only ones involved. I want you guys to check out this sound bite, and then I'll be right back.
There was a white officer that was tasing my son. And we don't understand how come his name was not put out there or mentioned in this whole fiasco.
The media is not talking about it either. It's very
odd.
odd.
I think that there should be quite a few additional charges.
All right, so you guys heard what Tyre's father had to say about the situation, and he's questioning the fact that the other officer that was tasing his son has not also been charged. And this is the thing, I told you guys just earlier that these officers do not have the same privilege as the other officer that his father is alluding to that has not been brought to the forefront to be held accountable. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and share this information with you all that I've been told about this situation and why it transpired. Now, my ex-girlfriend's brother actually stays in Tupelo, Mississippi, which is outside of Memphis, about 30 to 45 minutes. And he says that the word out there is that this was a personal situation because Tyre was allegedly being intimate with one of the PO's wives and that they took it personal. So this is the rumors that are going around the Memphis area. And then it's also been said that the wife actually contacted the authorities to alert them that this could be the reason why this transpired in the fashion that it did, that the officer's wife actually contacted them and told them that this is what was going down. And this could be the reasoning behind what happened to Tyre. Now, another thing that's interesting is the fact that my ex's brother has been reprimanded for posting this on social media. He's an actual sergeant, right, in the correctional industry and things of that nature. And so they reprimanded him for posting this on social media. Now, I'm not saying just because this is my ex's brother that this information is factual. I do know this brother to be solid and he always keeps it 100. But like I always say, you can take this information and do whatever you want with it. I'm just letting you know what the rumor is around the Memphis area. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna draw the line here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this sad situation. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.